This is to show you how to get started with using text. The type tool is right here on your toolbar. If you just click that, you can click and drag a type box. You'll see that it'll automatically fill with kind of placeholder text, it's called. It looks like it's Latin, but it's not really anything. And it's something used in the graphic arts industry. And then you can just type your word. Let's do this. It's Miss T. When it's selected, I've highlighted it right here. You can change the font up here. So it's remembering the last font I had. When it's highlighted too, it's cool. It'll show it to you like as a preview. You can scroll around in here. If you don't remember how to download fonts, you can see the other video for that. You can change the size here, make it larger. You can change whether it's centered, right aligned, or left aligned in your box. And you'll notice over here there's a character panel that has a lot of information there, and the paragraph one here too. So it's kind of at the top or down here. If you ever don't see it over here, you can go up to Window, Type, Character, and it'll pop it up to kind of live with you here. And then you can move it around with the selection tool. You'll see my box is kind of large right now. It's good to keep your box the same size as your text. There's two kind of modes of text that Illustrator does, and it's kind of hard to expect what it's going to be for you. So if you see here, when I change the box, it's just changing the box, not the text. And if I try to rotate it, it gets all kinds of funky. So I want to try the other mode. If I go, I've got my box selected with just the regular selection tool, and I'm going to type, convert to point type. And what that does is now if I hold shift and stretch the box, it lets me kind of freeform scale it up and down. If I don't hold shift, that looks really bad. Don't do that. Always hold shift when you're scaling your type, and then it'll let me rotate as well. So that's really cool. Here I'm in Times New Roman, which will have options here. So I'll have italic, bold, italic. You'll notice though in some fonts you don't have all of that. So let's put like this Minecraft font, I'm going to guess doesn't have a lot going on here. It also doesn't have an apostrophe in the Minecraft font. So sometimes you have to kind of get creative with how you do certain things when you use custom fonts online. For those that are more advanced with fonts, don't forget about kerning. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see that. Let me get some of this away. Kerning is, again, the spacing between the letters. You'll see this is a really good example of something that needs to be kerned. I've got a nice even gap here between the H and the E, but between this E and the L, it's so tight. That does not look good. So I'm going to put my cursor by double-clicking between that E and L, hold the Option key, and right arrow and left arrow will adjust that spacing. And I'm going to move around and try to make it a little bit more even. That looks a lot better than it did before. You want to have a nice even spacing when you kern, not just make it all super spacey or super tight. Kind of go with what you want for the design, but usually it's just a nice even spacing between the letters. And it's good to zoom out and kind of zoom back in and look at it and think about what you might need to adjust, because it takes a little while to get good at that. Hopefully that'll help you get started with fonts. There's a lot, or type. There's a lot more we can do with type, but that's just a quick refresher on how to get going on there.